Welcome back, and you're watching our special discussion that we're doing on cryptocurrencies and the regulations therein. And this one is to you, Rajesh. I mean, you've recently come out with a book as well on A to Z of cryptocurrencies and trading. What is your sense, the kind of awareness that the Indian public has as of now? How would you rate that, given the fact that the adoption rate in India perhaps is the highest right now?
Yeah, absolutely, Manish. In terms of awareness, a lot more needs to be done. It's not only specific to India, but it is also specific to globally. It's applicable globally. But however, from an India perspective, one, the general public should be aware in terms of what exactly is cryptocurrency. Many of them are not even aware that there is no physical version of these cryptocurrencies. It's only the digital version. They also need to understand in terms of what are the price mechanisms and also what are the valuation aspects that happen. Most of the investments at this point of time is on account of fear of missing out, because there's so much of hype as well as so much of extra focus that has been, or extra spotlight that has been brought on these cryptocurrencies. So most of the investments are either based on hunch or on the fear of missing out, or on hearsay from friends or colleagues that they made good investments and they had unlocked their investments. So from that perspective, we need to bring in a lot of awareness climate, and we've done this before, whether it is with respect to digital payments or whether it is with respect to mutual funds. As I had said before, can we create an environment wherein we can say crypto bhi sahi hai, but that sahi hai needs to happen on account of few predetermined aspects, and one need to work on that immediately.
Well, point. Ramesh, this one is to you. And the minister in his speech did say that it is going to be about regulations depending on each cryptocurrency asset, their use cases. So while we are talking about cryptocurrencies, there also are NFTs. There also is conversation about decentralized exchanges and borrowing and lending of cryptocurrencies as well. Would you say it really is a task in front of the regulators to start looking at this?
It is, and I think this is something where we had also recommended that the government should work closely with the industry, because, I mean, you're talking different types, but within cryptocurrencies itself, if you look at it, I mean, assuming that there are some 14,000 out there in the market globally, there are some 150 or 200 which get traded in the Indian exchanges. There are certain benchmarks which each of these exchanges have put in place to identify a mechanism on what should be allowed and what should not be. At the end of the day, I think while the bedrock remains that investor protection is critical, I think there is also a need for probably a regulator and government to jointly sit with the industry to identify those filtration mechanisms on one crypto itself, which is to say that, okay, what kind of cryptocurrencies make the cut to be traded and be available for trading in India. And of course, certain things which have the trail and so on, because the misuse element has to be nipped in the bud. Second part is, of course, NFTs and various tokens and other things that you mentioned. They come with different use cases. Shelf life is dependent on use cases. It can have different kind of connotations altogether. So even for that, when we looked at from the prism of taxability itself, we were of the opinion that each of them cannot be given the same tax treatment. So which means that while all of the, I mean, I'm not saying we need to reinvent the wheel here, but obviously all of them cannot be apples to apples comparison. There are apples there, oranges there, and probably a few other fruits there. And therefore, each of them need to be tested based on their use case, based on their evolution, based on their utility, and so on. And therefore, that distinction becomes the secondary and tertiary distinction. But to start with, I think the government needs to start off with at least crypto to say, okay, what kind of cryptos am I allowing? What are the use cases? And how do we go ahead with treating them? And what do we allow and what do we not allow? And of course, then going on to NFTs and a few other things, which is a natural parallel exercise that they need to do.
Sure. And Siddharth, this one is to you. So while it's not just India which is looking at various regulatory conversations, the global markets are doing that too. And Siddharth, we have seen ETFs come in. There are funds now deploying money into cryptocurrencies and the technology. And some of the Wall Street broking houses as well are creating their own desks where they don't want to, let out or let go of this as an asset class. What's your sense on the global learnings from there?
Yeah, so, recently one of the exchanges, Coinbase, they got direct listing on Nasdaq with a $100 billion valuation, right? So it is huge. And it was a direct listing. That means there is no underwriting. So if that is the kind of valuations coming in, plus ETFs, even I mean the spot ETF was rejected recently by SEC. However, ETFs are coming in. A lot of funds have been incorporated in the Cayman Islands in the last 2 years. Grayscale have one of the biggest, has almost $40 billion in AUM, which is huge for an industry this nascent. So and the leading institutional investors, they need more exposure. So banks like JP Morgan's and Goldman Sachs, they have started funds and instruments which allow access for their clients to get systematic exposure into this space. India has not yet started anything around this, and it is time that we also start doing this. Otherwise, we'll be left far behind. And this is what I addressed in the meeting yesterday as well, that it is growing globally, and if it is it has like the government has their own concerns, but none of the governments across the globe, at least in the leading nations like the US, Europe and all, they have not banned it, right? They have figured out ways to regulate it. And banning is that, and that's just because banning is not even an option for this, because this is in the internet. Hence, if you want to ban this, you have to ban the internet, which is not possible. Hence, we must regulate it. So this was my 2 cents yesterday in the meeting as well.
So just as we wind up, Siddharth, what is the next step now? The industry, we understand, has to give a written response to the Parliamentary Standing Committee. Is it industry as one which is going to do that?
Yes, I believe the industry as one should do that. However, we will be giving our written responses individually. There were a couple of bodies like the CII, IAMAI, and a couple of individual companies as well, and a few individual experts in this field as well. So I believe all of and the MPs asked all of them individually about their previous a note, right? That so certain responses were directed to certain people. Hence, I believe that the industry should come together and give a response, as well as do it individually at their own, based on their expertise. And I believe the next step coming in would be probably another meeting in a few weeks, or else we may see a bill in the winter session.
Well, clearly there is lots happening and lots expected, especially during the winter session, is what our experts tell us. Thank you, gentlemen. This has been a great conversation with a great panel, which has broken it down in a very simple words to all of us. Yes, there are opportunities, some challenges as well, but the task or the narrative clearly is looking quite positive at this point in time. Thank you so much.